Hey, what's up, riders? Been a while, boys, but I thank you for making your attendance known here in our YouTube channel. I have to go ahead and say that I've recorded two now of these videos, and which would have had this released and everything by the time this NBA prop locked. Not the case. And now, after about 30 minutes of talking to myself, essentially, uh, it's already locked. Gonna have laid out there that I took Grizzlies in that one, but since it's already locked, there's no sense in going into it. Really, moving on here, I think the Grizzlies also take it in the third quarter. I think they'll have accumulated a pretty interesting lead. Maybe only a few points, 2 or 3, but I think they will have the lead at halftime. And I really think that the third quarter has a little bit of advantage for the home team. I think more often than not, you'll see the visitor make a statement in the fourth quarter, kind of sneaking back in, as they call it, backdoor challenge there, which is, I get it, but whatever. I think that the Grizzlies come out strong after the halftime. Coach gets in their head. They go ahead and continue what was already a pretty good performance against the Thunder. As predicted in Oklahoma City, it was split 1-1. I kind of foresee the same thing happening here in Memphis, 1-1, with Memphis winning the first one. Laying all the chips down, I have to say that Memphis could take both these, make it 3-3 or 3-1, pushing it back to Oklahoma City, really putting it up against them. I think they just match up real well against these guys. And, I kind of dogged them a little bit in my initial preview of this round, I guess you could say, in the NBA playoffs. But, Thunder really coming up short. Durant's kind of, still the man for his team, but one man doesn't win playoffs. You can look at the Heat and say the same with LeBron. He really needs guys around him to step up in this game. I don't see it happening, at least not in this third game. Moving right on ahead, gonna jump over, leapfrog this NHL prop and come back to it. But looking right ahead after that, we got the Orioles at the Twins. Now, the Twins have been putting something fierce on lately. Really think they got some good bats. However, they don't really have the pitching to back up those bats. Vance Worley is one of those guys that, I fade pretty often when playing MLB BTS, or Beat the Streak, if you're not familiar with it, which actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and start including my picks for BTS in this little rundown. I believe they have got two Detroit Tigers picked. They got Miguel Cabrera and Austin Jackson. That game's not even on Street for the Cash. You can kind of go ahead and see that it's going to be pretty one-sided. I actually do make some bets based on whether or not a matchup appears on Street for the Cash, because I go ahead and assume that most of those that do are either potential upsets are going to be real close in nature. More often than not, that plays out. It's a really good angle to take if you are putting some coin down. But, that being said, those two guys, those cool cats right there on BTS, I'm doubled down for a little bit of a win-6 action. Not too much, but something going there. And I really look to those guys. And moving right on ahead, the Yankees at the Royals. Skip it, pet it, can't put a finger down on the guy. He's good, he's bad, he's good, he's bad, he's good, he's good, he's good, he's bad. Shields, on the other hand, really think he got what it takes to put up on the mound what the Royals need for him to do today against the Yankees, who, they've been playing real well. I really can't dog them too much, the Yankees, that is. But I really think the Royals put it down at home. That's where they win. Likewise, the Yankees win in the Bronx. So, gonna have to back the sheep on this one, even though it is a pretty close call. Similarly, gonna have to back the sheep in the MLS prop with New England Revolution with the draw at home. Even though more often than not, when you see the home team with the draw in soccer, it's pretty suspect. Kind of make you furrow your brow a little bit. But that being said, New York did not look very good in Chicago. Chicago's one of those teams that score maybe 0 or 1 goals a game. They got 3 on the Bulls. The Bulls don't really bring their game on the road. They don't really pack it up very tight. And so, check your bags there. New York, make sure you brought your D, but I don't think you did. New England Revolution, rather. Go ahead and pull off the tie. Also, got another New York team on the road in the NBA playoffs playing the Indiana Pacers. Another series in which we here at Riders OTS kind of predicted would go split 1-1 in first little homestand there in New York. It did. And Pacers going to go ahead and take 1 or 2 right here back at home. I really think they'll take 2. You can go ahead and put your pick on the Pacers tonight. I think they're the better team. Not really going to go too much in on it because I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and get back to the NHL game, which will be the one I'm on. Phillies, they've been putting together something fierce here also. On the road, though, in Arizona, is not the way I'd go. I think Cahill was a fantastic pitcher last year. He's still kind of pushing the buttons, find out where he's going to be going this season. I really think that Arizona knows their park well. Phillies, like I said, they've been putting on something fierce, and I think they'll be swinging around. But, Lee's not the guy that he has been in the past. And just straight up looking at these two pitchers, you're going to see what I believe to be somewhat of a high-scoring game. Going to have to back Cahill and the home team here. Similarly with the Mariners at home, they did something real big last night. Went up something like 6-0 at one point, and the Athletics, tried to sneak in through the back, but they could not manage much. Mariners, they play real well at home, and I don't think Jared Parker is the guy that he was last year either. A lot of these guys that looked pretty good last year kind of falling through this season, and I think he's one of them. I think the Mariners put up the big bats at home today, and I would back them, if you get that late night nightcap, double night. Anyway, just let's focus in, zoom in, magnify on this NHL playoffs. This is what it'll be on. I'm going to go ahead and try to reserve my pick to the end of the spiel. You'll figure it out real quick who I'm on. But, New York Islanders, they've been putting up a fight. It's real tough to go in Pittsburgh and win. They managed to do it once. But, now that Coach made the bright idea to put Vokoun in, who, by the way, has something like a .70 goals average against New York in the whole season, which is 4 starts and 5 appearances, totaling to about 13, I believe, periods of play. So the dude's let in 3 goals in 13 periods, including the shutout last night, or not last night, but last game. He just knows the team well. He's got something like a .977 save percentage against New York. They really have not figured out how to beat this guy. Everybody looks at him as a backup, not someone to look to, but the dude's a veteran. He's been playing for a damn while. He knows how to guard the crease, and Pittsburgh's probably going to keep him in there for a lot of this playoff continuing here. I really don't think MAS is the way to look. He looked really shoddy last season, and they were exit stage left in the first round. If they would have kept him in this season, it'd be the same thing. But they didn't. Went ahead and put DeVito in there, and anyway, they're just far too deep, this team. Islanders, they get a few guys on their team roster that they're going to push them a little bit further in the years to come. Like I've said before, they're a big up-and-coming team. Look for them next year to be performing, but you're going to have to go ahead and tip your hats to them this year because they're expected to be either last place or second to last in their division, and here they are in the playoffs, pushing this series further than some of these other series have been going. It's looking like a good matchup, and now being back at home, it's really tough for Pittsburgh to be going on the road here with a backup goalie. I don't care what your performance has been, but that being said, with the stats, as I mentioned before, with Vokoun against the Islanders and them not having any solution for the dude, Pittsburgh Penguins are they're a tough team. They've got a fucking stacked roster. With Vinci Malkin, he's coming out strong. He's points leader on the team. You also got Crosby, who put together something really special last time they were playing with something that went on the highlight reel as far as, best goals in this series. I really think that it was pretty interesting to see that, considering that in the first period, New York Islanders, even on the road, outshot the Penguins something like 14-7 that first period. And up until about midway in the second frame, they were also dominating. I think up until the first goal by the Penguins, you can make the argument that Islanders were playing the better game. But then, Penguins put 2 in the back of the net within a minute and a half. They typically do that. You've seen this in the series so many times, how quickly they score. And I don't know if that's saying something about the Penguins or if it's saying something about the Islanders, that, they lose their focus right quick and kind of get in a scramble. But if that's the case, the Penguins are a really good team to take advantage of that, blood in the water kind of scenario. And I think this is another one of those situations where, there's a little bit of blood in the water. I think New York, they did not have a great home record during the regular season, so you can't really consider that much of a home advantage. The place will be rocking, don't get me wrong, but when it comes down to it, it's playoffs, this Pittsburgh team just stacked. and they've actually won 6 out of the last 8 visits to New York. So, like I said, kind of take the home advantage out of this one. You can go ahead and cancel that one out. I really think Pittsburgh will win by 2. I set it by 2. And this one, if it was on Strictly Cash, Pittsburgh 2+, or the WDL, the WinDL for New York, I think that's the way they should have gone on this one, upset a lot of streaks like they did last time. I think that Vokoun's just going to lock it down. I don't see New York scoring more than 2, because that's just the game changer right there in this series, is taking Fleury out. Penguins have posted 2 shutouts in this series, which is pretty phenomenal. When you look back on it, they've really dominated the series, even though it's kind of been, chugging along. 2 shutouts of them, that means that, their defense is stepping up, and while the Penguins have, scored at least 3 goals in every one of these games. Now, just to put that into perspective, they're averaging just over 4 games in the series. Sometimes they're stacking the chips tall, but they're not getting less than 3 on Nabokov, who really kind of fallen flat in this series. I think he's got something like a .469, I believe, goals against average in this series, which says a lot considering that he had a 3.4 goals against average against Pittsburgh in the regular season. Now that they're capitalizing 3+ every game, it kind of just goes to show that the guy, he's got nothing on Pittsburgh. And, that regular season stat also includes times before Iginla was on the team, times Crosby was out. I mean, the Pittsburgh Penguins have full roster right now, and they're full speed ahead. I really think they close this one out on the road. Like I said, look for them to do real well, something like 2+. I don't see it being a very close game. Not saying there'll be another shutout, but Islanders just don't got what it takes. Penguins are also winning 4 of 5 against teams losing home records, so there's not just a specificity with New York Islanders. It's really just a league-wide thing. This team's doing things right now. They're making moves, and they're going to get their pawns all the way to the other side, and change it into a queen or king. Really going on out on a limb with that chess reference. But anyway, it's not a sure thing. I wouldn't say put all your eggs in one basket with this one. If you got something high going on with your streaks, a couple of you guys, trying to build something here. I'd say about 45% of the time, Game 7 will be forced in this situation where a team, has really got their backs against the wall, bringing it back home in what's already been a tight series. I just don't see Islanders equating much against Vokoun and his boys today. Like I said, it's really going to be all-out kind of thing here, all-out effort for both of these teams, not just the home team trying to get back in this, but Penguins, they want to close this out. They don't want to roll the dice again. Just going to go ahead and say that, you've already figured out. My pick's going to be on the Penguins. We've had some pretty good fortune here in the NHL playoffs here at Riders, and moving right on. I've backed the Penguins almost every game. So it just goes to show they're the better team. And just go ahead and recap here. We got Mariners at home I like, Diamondbacks at home I like, Pacers at home I like, holy shit. Revolution at home I like, blah, blah, blah. What this comes down to is, really, Pittsburgh on the road being, now I've discovered my only road team that I like. Kind of makes me wonder, if it's kind of preference or if it's something I've really looked into. But trust me, I've looked a lot into the playoffs, and I've definitely looked into this series, watched every game, and I think Penguins are the way to go. Good luck to all you guys. Thanks for coming out again. Hopefully I'll be having a little time tomorrow. Who knows? It's Mother's Day. We'll see. But, see you in the group.